Hello everyone. It's James again. And today, I want to talk about narcissistic abuse recovery self-work. Because on my video, entitled, Narcissistic Abuse, How Do I Make Myself Stronger So I Don't Find Myself in These Situations Again? And I will leave a link for it in the description box below, so you can check it out. But on this video, I received a comment asking, what is the self-work? Now, in this video I talked about things that can help get you stronger so you don't find yourself in narcissistically abusive situations again. Which mainly surrounds developing good boundaries. But to answer the question, how do you do the self-work? Or what is the self-work? To be more precise, well, the answer is going on your own personal journey to learn about exactly what happened to you, and how it shaped you into being the person you are today. Both good and bad. You see, one thing I and other narcissistic abuse survivors have often talked about is our need to pretty much confess, or sharing things with someone we really shouldn't share such information with. And sadly, we were unaware this is a very toxic trait. Not only does it attract narcissists to us, because we are telling them all of our weak points, and pretty much giving them the game plan so they can mirror us. So we think we've found a new best friend, or life partner. But also it drives away good and normal well-adjusted people. I really had no idea that people thought some of the things I would say was nuts. Well, I did after the fact. And I would vow to change. But it would always creep up again. Each time I was left feeling embarrassed, but in the moment, it was just a part of who I was. And how did I get this way? Being raised by my narcissistic mother. Because when you are raised in the home of a narcissist, you are always made to feel like you're on trial and you always have to confess each and every detail, so they can keep their file on you up to date. And when you meet a toxic person you are now having a relationship with, and they do the same thing to you, though you hate it, it's all you know. And it's easier for you to stick around and battle it out, then say, hey, this is nuts, and leave. Because again, it's all you know. And along the way, you meet well-adjusted people that think, wow, you're pretty cool. Because I wouldn't do this big reveal all the time. But eventually it would happen. And before you knew it, they would think, wow, this guy is a weirdo. And I'm pretty sure I ruined a lot of chances at healthy relationships as a result. And it's things like this many of us looked at and noticed that, hey, we did pick up some screwed up traits as a result of our upbringing. And I will tell you, the more I heard others talking about this very subject, it got easier and easier to identify with this problem I had. And the more I identified with it, the more I would understand the reasons why I was doing it. I came to terms with the fact that narcissists, and in this situation my narcissist mother, used this as a way to get narcissistic supply from me, and as a way to stay ahead of the game with her abuse towards me, and ability to keep others in the dark about her abuse through smear campaigns she would launch on me. For narcissists it's all about staying 10 steps ahead. And they make this process easy by putting you on trial. And before you know it, you are just a big pile of verbal diarrhea. And it creeps into other areas of your life, to the point where you do this even when you're not being put on trial. And instances where it can come off as arrogance on your part, that you are showing off, or bragging, when in reality you are just going over the details. Because that's just what you do. You see, when you grew up in a narcissistically abusive home, you really have no sense of how the real world works. When I started to learn about narcissism, and what really happened to me, it was weird. It was like literally taking the red pill, and understanding what the real world was about. You see, the narcissist parent or parents want to keep you dumb and blind to reality, and for you to live in their reality. And even though you know that you are being mistreated, you carry your understanding of the narcissist's reality with you everywhere you go. unless you learn how the world really works. And yes, the world is built on narcissistic abuse. But the way you are to interact with well-adjusted people is way different than what you learned growing up in a narcissistically abusive home. And what growing up like this does is turns you into a target. And the narcissist parent knows it. They know you are carrying this weird lifestyle with you. And it will be your downfall. You see, my mother was a combo of an overt narcissist and a covert one. Something I will talk about in future videos on how someone can indeed be both. But my mother's overt side of being a hoarder and acting strangely in public fed her need for attention. But it was also done to embarrass me and my golden child brother. She didn't want anyone normal to want us. You see, narcissist parents don't want you to escape, no matter if you are the golden child or the scapegoat. They want you to be there all the time for them to be able to feed on any time they want. And the best ways to do this is infect you with a lot of weird traits that make you unacceptable to those that are well-adjusted. And also to embarrass you as well in front of normal well-adjusted people. You see, I went through life looking and appearing normal. And even being outgoing. Like I've said before. Despite all that has gone on in life, I still love to talk to people. Shake hands. Even to complete strangers. I can be pumping gas and exchange a smile. And say hello to the person pumping gas in front of me. I've always been that way. This led me to always have the ability to meet people. But there would come a time when the verbal diarrhea would happen. And just way too much weird information would come out. Or they would see me as a normal happy guy. Then I would do something strange or say something strange I learned in my toxic home of origin. That would be taken as arrogance. But it was just me feeling like I had to prove myself or give every little detail I could on a particular topic. Before you knew it, I was surrounded by narcissists. But I didn't know that. And all the well-adjusted people seemed to disappear. Again. I would sometimes see it after the fact. And I would feel embarrassed about certain things. And I would vow to change. But it always happened again. But once I was able to trace back where exactly I got this from, and why I started to act like this, I was able to understand. People don't need to know this or that. I learned to hold my tongue on certain things. And wait a bit. And think about my words before I said them. And there have been many times I thought to myself, thank God I didn't say or do this or that. I see where it's helped me to be able to observe. I'm still very friendly. But found myself on the other side of the fence of seeing others doing what I used to do. And seeing it as weird and strange and off-putting. Yes. I'm understanding of it. As I once used to do such things. But I also see it as a toxic sign. Because there's no way to know. Someone doing such a thing is either a narcissist or a codependent that hasn't worked on their codependency. And neither one is good. So I just politely pull away. Which is exactly what normal well-adjusted people used to do to me. Doing the self-work is tracing back your behaviors and understanding where you picked them up from. And understanding how they affect you. And training yourself out of such behaviors. And one of the best things to do is work with someone that understands codependency. Or at least start to read about it. There's lots of websites, books, and videos on the topic. Because truthfully, when you are codependent, and you have no boundaries, it doesn't just allow narcissists into your life to abuse you. It sometimes puts you in situations where you act like a fool when you don't realize you're acting like a fool. And normal well-adjusted people will be put off. And this can limit your options for a happy life. With healthy interactions. One of the worst things a narcissistic abuse survivor can say and do is to think there's nothing about them that needs to change. It's all the narcissist. Blah 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 blah. Yes. The narcissist is evil. Yes. The narcissist is wrong. Yes. The narcissist is a soul thief. But they also implant things into your behavior so you walk around in life pretty much self-destructing and ruining chances one after another. Because if you do that, that means you will always go back to them. Because no one else will want you. Because narcissists know they are evil. Narcissists know they are demonic reptiles. And they know if you're well adjusted and you think and act rationally. They know at some point you will never have anything to do with them again. But if you don't think or act like a well-adjusted person, you will ruin all chances with having healthy interactions. Which will leave you alone and seeking someone to care for you. Which will bring you right back to the narcissist. Once you start to learn about what has happened to you, and its effects on your life, and training yourself out of such toxic behaviors, you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Also within this process, you start to learn it's okay to being alone. Because the narcissist makes you so love-starved that you will take love from anyone even if it's fake. When you go through this process of learning about what happened to you, and codependency, you start to learn self-love, which is the most important thing you can do. That being said, the main thing I started to do during this phase of self-betterment, which I'm still on this journey, and I will always be on this journey, is to observe. As observing before reacting or doing can literally save you time, heartache, and your very life. Then you start learning about codependency, and boundaries, and how to enforce them. And that not everybody needs to hear about every detail about certain things you've done, or other parts of your life. Also, ask yourself, if I say and do this, would this be taken as bragging? It's good to be confident. But ask yourself, is saying this or that really needed? Is it helping anyone? Or is it just verbal diarrhea? And being able to do this to the point it becomes the new you. A healthier you. A you that is growing and bettering each and every day. And yes, there are going to be days where you have setbacks. Or you will say or do things in a weird way. But even well-adjusted people have these moments too. But I think you will find these moments fewer and further in between and easy to apologize for. And easy to correct such mistakes. The self-work is an understanding of who you really are. And what makes you tick. What makes you say and do what you do. The good and the bad. The good and the bad. And literally become the best. And I do mean the best version of yourself that you can be. I hope this answer helps you. Because talking about it also helps me. Because talking about it helps me revisit some things in my mind. I'm always learning. And falling short is a part of life. Getting depressed and dusting oneself off and trying again is a part of life. And being alone, especially if we grew up in a narcissistically abusive home, is a part of life. Wishing my mother is going to one day be normal isn't going to help. But understanding one's situation for what it is what matters. Understanding the poor cards you were given. Or the lemons you were handed. And figuring out how to make lemonade out of the lemons you were given. And part of that process of making good lemonade is self-education. Gaining knowledge and how to be the best lemonade makers we can be. And in this case, the best people we can be. It's never-ending, people. It's never-ending. Well, again, I hope this helps. Don't forget to check out my video entitled Narcissistic Abuse: How Do I Make Myself Stronger So I Don't Find Myself in These Situations Again? And I want to say, thank you for the questions. Thank you for the dialogue. Though I might not respond to everyone, what you say might spark me to think about something and talk about it in a video down the line. Because these types of interactions is what helps us look at ourselves. And this is why I do talk about people that have narcissistic traits but aren't narcissists too. Especially when talking about men and women issues. Because I know what society is doing to target you, to get you to mess each other over. And if one person that is in such a boat sees videos like this, and they figure some things out, and better themselves, then it's all worth it. As for narcissists, nor can you help them. They are what they are. There's no changing these entities. Again, I want to say thank you for your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so if you feel so inclined. And also don't forget to click the little bell to be notified each and every time I make a new video. Also, if you can, please share. The more people that see this type of content, the more people can do the self-work and hopefully get on the track to leading a better and more happier life. With that being said, let's continue to pray for wisdom. Let's continue to pray for strength. And let's continue to pray for courage. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.